Hello and welcome to the International Daily Roundup by People's Dispatch, where we bring you some of the major news developments from across the world. Earlier today, the Constitutional Court of Thailand passed a verdict to outlaw the nation's third largest political party, the Future Forward Party. The party, led by young entrepreneur Thanathorn Juangroongruangkit, was charged with breaking party finance laws during the last election held in March. The party was accused in a complaint filed in May 2019 of breaking the finance laws after Thanathorn loaned funds worth over $6 million to his party during the election campaign. However, many have claimed that this dissolution is politically motivated as he was a joint opposition candidate for the post of Prime Minister. To talk more about this, we have with us Anish. Anish, thanks for joining us. So, there is, although it's a very important country and there's been a lot of political developments happening in recent times, not much is known about the political system in Thailand itself. So, before we get into the details, could you talk a bit about what exactly is the political situation now and what role this party played?
So let's begin with the first fact that right now Thailand is going through its 18th constitution, and that gives you a picture of how political instability is quite common, in the sense that the state is not unstable, but the system is, and that's primarily because the military has been, ever since it turned into a constitutional monarchy, the military has been one of the prime players in the political system of Thailand.
Right.
And right now, so for the past few constitutional processes, you had a period where the military was not that embedded or that involved in the daily political legislative purposes. But this time, under the current Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha, they embedded themselves so strongly inside the system, into the legislative process, into how the government is even formed, that it's very difficult to get out of. Now, even then, you had opposition parties coming together, trying to upend the system. In some ways, they were successful in the sense that they showed that a vast majority of the population does not really favor the political dispensation that the military junta has put up. But even then, the system was so against them. It was not rigged in the sense that we understand election rigging, but it was rigged against any kind of
systemic level, maybe.
Yeah, at a systemic level where you cannot get anything up that is against the junta in power.
Right. So, what about the role this party has played? What is its political orientation, so to speak?
So, the Future Forward Party came about with the coming together of a lot of social movements and grassroots movements in Thailand, and they wanted to depart from the conventional anti-junta, anti-military politics, which was more or less monopolized by the Shinawatra family, which was then, by that time, it became synonymous with corruption and, monopoly. Nepotism in most cases. So to break away from that and to create a new kind of politics, this party was brought about. I'm not going to say that it's a revolutionary party, but it did give a lot of Thai people a great deal of hope, because it then offered them a very significant way forward, because it was clean politics. It was not just clean politics, it was something that was also progressive in certain policy issues, at least. And they were also opposed to a system that was dominated by the military. And in that sense, the Future Forward Party created the space, this platform that was very important, that was not going to be stuck between a rut that has been there for more than a decade now, more than 2 decades actually, if you think about it, where on the one hand you have a more, at least nominally democratic but more corrupt neoliberal system, and on the other hand you have the militarized neoliberal system. So it was trying to break away from that and then create a platform, and it succeeded to a great extent, because even then the Shinawatra's Pheu Thai party ceded the space for and nominated Thanathorn as the
joint prime ministerial candidate.
Yeah, exactly. Last year they failed, of course, because of different reasons. but it did make a significant impact. And then after that, it was not so much Pheu Thai, which was usually, and its predecessors, which was usually the target of attacks by the military. This time it was Future Forward Party. In November, December, if I'm not wrong, they had this court verdict that actually banned him from elections, banned him from becoming the member of the parliament over a very, a very specious case, because in the sense that they accused him of owning a media channel, which he had disbanded in 2017. Even then, and which was much before he formed the party, much less fought elections. So they used certain excuses in a way to try to attack the party, try to attack the leadership, and disband it. And they found one right now, and they've succeeded.
Thank you so much, Anish. In our next story, late in the evening on February 20th, Thursday, the Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar submitted his resignation to President Michael Higgins. This was after failing to secure the necessary majority. The Irish political system has been in a crisis ever since the elections, and while Sinn Fein has emerged as the single largest, has won the maximum number of votes, it is the second highest number of seats. Meanwhile, Leo Varadkar's party has the third highest number of seats. So in this context, there is a huge debate going on in the Irish political system about who will be the next Prime Minister. But at this point, Varadkar is definitely lost, and he's said that he will no longer continue as Prime Minister. He will, however, continue in a caretaker position. The next vote is scheduled for March 5th, where once again, the various Irish parliamentary groups will try to reach some sort of a consensus and try to form the government. That's all we have in this episode of the International Daily Roundup. To read more about these stories, visit our website, peoplesdispatch.org, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching.